Hey friends, we are starting a new writing unit. So I sent you a video to your Google Classroom. Hopefully you watched the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's an old story. You guys probably know the story, and that's why I picked it. Because today we're going to be learning how to retell a story. So today we're just going to retell a story, but then as we work on further, we're going to write our retell. Today, we're just going to be talking. So, if you haven't watched your Goldilocks and the Three Bears, pause this video, go watch that, and then come back and we'll continue. All right. So, we're going to talk about how to retell a story first. So, when we retell a story, we want to tell a story in order. We want to tell the story from beginning to end. So when we talk about retelling the beginning of the story, there are some things that I want you to try to add to your stories. So in the beginning of a story, we want to make sure that we are talking about the characters of the story. Who is in the story? And then we also want to let the reader know where we are and what time of day it is. Are we in a castle? Are we at the beach? Are we inside our house? Are we outside our house? Is it morning? Is it nighttime? So those are the things that you would add to a retelling for the beginning of a story. Now let's talk about the middle of the story. Once you talk about who the characters are and where they are and what time of day it is, it's time to tell what's going on in the story. So in the middle of the story, usually something happens. Sometimes it's something exciting. Sometimes it's something scary. Do you remember Little Red Riding Hood? She met a wolf in the forest and she was a little bit scared. Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes we're just surprised, like, no way. So the middle of the story usually tells something exciting. And then the end of the story, usually that exciting thing is over and they have finished the story. Something, if it was lost, was found. If it was broken, it was fixed. Now, not all stories end on a happy note, but most stories have a very happy ending. It's done. The story is over. And as a reader, we know the story is over. Let's think about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. At the end of the story, we knew it was over because she ran away, right? She was scared. She ran away. She never came back again. And that is the end of that story. All right, friends. So I have one more picture to show you. When we are talking about a retell, I want you to think about it as a winding path. So the story starts down at the bottom of the path and the journey continues until you end up somewhere and it is done. It is over. So let's talk about that Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You guys watch that video. You guys know the story. Remember that when we're telling a retell, we're not telling all of the parts that happened, because then we could just read the book. So a retell just tells the important parts of the story. So let's just try it with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So we could say, let me go back to slide number 2. We could say, one day, a little girl named Goldilocks went into the forest walking around, and she came upon a house. So, friends, did you hear me tell you who the character was and where she was? And I also said it was day. One day, Goldilocks was walking through the forest, and she found a house. All right, now we're getting into the middle of the story. Goldilocks went inside the house. Nobody was home. First, she saw some porridge sitting on the table, and she decided to eat some porridge. She tried the big bowl, but it was too hot. She tried the medium-sized bowl, but it was too cold. And then she tried the little bowl, and it was just right. So she ate it all up. And then she went into the living room to have a seat. And she tried the big chair, and it was too hard. And then she tried the medium-sized chair, and it was too soft. And then she tried the little chair, and it was just right. But she broke it. See the problem? She's inside a house, and she broke it. She decided to go upstairs to take a nap. She tried the first bed, and it was too hard. And then she tried the medium-sized bed, and it was too soft. And then she tried the little bed, and it was just right. And she fell asleep. All right, friends, we're getting to the end of the story. What happens to Goldilocks? She's in somebody's house, and she is sleeping. So at the end of the story, the three bears come home, and they find out that someone has been in their house. Someone has eaten the porridge. Someone has broken Baby Bear's chair. And then they find that someone sleeping in Baby Bear's bed. All of a sudden, Goldilocks wakes up, and she gets scared, and she runs out of the house, never to be seen again. The bears never see her again. All right, friends, today what I want you to do is I want you to take that same story. I want you to take Goldilocks and the three bears, and I want you to find an adult at your house, and I want you to retell that story. No writing today. I just want you to practice retelling the story. All right, friends, we will work again tomorrow.